The sharp, echoing bark of a canine police dog sliced through the silence of an abandoned warehouse. Dust floated in golden beams of sunlight that streamed through broken windows, illuminating the eerie stillness inside. Officers had swept the building earlier, finding nothing but crumbling walls, shattered glass, and shadows that whispered of forgotten memories. But the dog knew! Something hidden, something unspeakable was trapped inside. He stopped suddenly, his ears pricking, his nose twitching. And then, with a guttural growl, he pressed his paws against a cracked cement wall and barked ferociously, refusing to move. At that moment, no one could have imagined what lay behind that wall. The officers froze, exchanging nervous glances. Was it evidence of a crime, a secret stash, or something darker? Every bark shook the air like an alarm bell, a desperate cry that insisted on being heard. And when the first blow of the officer's hammer broke the wall open, the world on the other side shattered their hearts forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, or the unbreakable loyalty of animals, please take a moment to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to Positive Tales. Your support helps us keep telling stories that inspire hope and remind us of the miracles found in unexpected places. The officer's hammer struck again, chunks of concrete falling away as light pierced through the gap. The canine lunged closer, barking with a mix of urgency and pain, as if he already knew the truth waiting behind. Finally, the wall gave way enough to reveal a small, trembling figure. A young boy, his eyes wide with fear, his mouth bound with tape, stared back at them. The officer's heart sank. For a moment, time froze. The air grew heavy. None of them were prepared for the sight of a child hidden in such a place, alone, frightened, and silenced. The boy's tiny hands clutched the rubble as tears welled in his eyes, glistening under the rays of sunlight. He looked frail, as though days had passed since he had last eaten. The canine whined, softening his fierce bark into a gentle cry, and crawled closer, his nose brushing the boy's hand with tender reassurance. That single touch broke through the boy's walls of terror, and he let out a muffled sob, his body shaking uncontrollably. The officer tore away the tape and gently lifted the child into his arms. The boy clung to him tightly, burying his face against the officer's vest, as though afraid the world might collapse again if he let go. Every officer standing there felt an ache in their chest. They had seen crime, pain, and loss countless times before, but this moment was different. This wasn't just about rescuing someone. It was about giving life back to a child who had almost lost everything. As they carried him out, the warehouse seemed to sigh, releasing its hidden secret into the light. The boy blinked as sunlight touched his face again, his eyes adjusting to freedom after being trapped in darkness. And through it all, the canine never left his side, his watchful gaze guarding him like a silent promise. You are safe now. The following hours were filled with questions, paperwork and investigations, but the boy spoke very little. His voice was hoarse, his words broken. All he could say was that he had been taken, hidden away, and left in the cold silence of that room. He didn't know if anyone would come for him, but he remembered the sound of barking, the sound that told him help was near. That bark had been his beacon of hope, his lifeline in a place where hope had no reason to survive. Days turned into weeks, and the boy slowly began to heal. He stayed under protective care, surrounded by people who wanted nothing but to see him smile again. Yet it was the canine who made the biggest difference. Every time the dog visited, the boy's eyes lit up. The fear that lingered in his heart seemed to fade with every wag of the tail, every playful nudge, every soft bark that now sounded like laughter. The bond between them grew unshakable, woven by shared pain and renewed trust. The officers often said it wasn't just luck that saved the boy that day. It was instinct, love, and loyalty that guided the canine to the wall. It was proof that animals carry a wisdom beyond human understanding, a wisdom rooted in heart rather than logic. The boy, once silenced and hidden, began to speak again. He spoke of dreams, of wanting to run outside, of wanting to never be left in the dark again. And each time, the canine listened with patient eyes, as if promising to keep those dreams safe. Months later, at a small public ceremony, the officer and his canine partner were honored for their bravery. The boy, now healthier and stronger, stood beside them with a shy smile. The crowd clapped, tears in their eyes, as they witnessed not just an act of duty, but a story of love that had rewritten a child's life. When it was time to speak, the officer didn't talk about awards or recognition. Instead, he placed his hand on the canine's back and simply said, "This dog saved more than a life. He saved a soul." The audience grew silent, the weight of his words sinking deep. People often think heroes wear uniforms or carry weapons, but sometimes the greatest hero walks on four legs and speaks only with the language of loyalty. That day, everyone in the room learned that bravery is not just about fighting danger. It's about refusing to let someone remain lost, unseen or forgotten. The boy's laughter eventually returned, echoing in the lives of those who once feared he might never smile again. And though the scars of his ordeal remained, they no longer defined him. What defined him was the moment a dog refused to give up, the moment a bark turned into a lifeline, and the moment love broke through cement walls stronger than any prison. So whenever you hear a bark in the distance, remember, it might just be a reminder that hope, loyalty, and love still exist, even in the darkest corners of the world. If this story touched your heart, please show your support by liking this video, sharing it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribing to Positive Tales. Every small action helps us spread these powerful stories of love, healing, and second chances. Special request to comment. Tell us in the comments what this story meant to you, and share a moment when an animal brought unexpected hope or healing into your life. Your story might inspire someone else who needs it.